Manchester City dealt fresh injury blow ahead of Bournemouth as Erling Haaland Waite continues Manchester City injury, latest following the Carabao Cup win at Swansea City, with Pep Guardiola's side in Premier League action against Bournemouth this weekend. Manchester City return to Premier League action this weekend when they welcome second-place Bournemouth to the Etihad. The Cherries are enjoying a fine start to the season and begin the weekend 2 points and 3 places clear of the Blues. Pep Guardiola saw his side beaten 1-0 by Aston Villa last weekend, before a much-changed team recovered from going a goal down to Championship side Swansea City in Wednesday night's Carabao Cup tie to win 3-1. Jeremy Doku, Omar Marmoush and Rayan Cherki were on the score sheet as several players made first starts following time out through injury. And while there were several welcome returns to the starting 11, City were also dealt a fresh blow. Here's the injury latest ahead from the Etihad. Carabao Cup draw live as Manchester City target quarter-final place ahead of Swansea. Clash Manchester City will look to win the Carabao Cup for the first time since 2021 this season. And their journey continues against Swansea City on Wednesday night. The draw for the Carabao Cup quarter-final takes place on Wednesday night following this evening's fourth-round ties. Manchester City will be hoping to be in tonight's draw with victory over Championship side Swansea City. Pep Guardiola's men have enjoyed plenty of success in the tournament in recent years, but have not gone the distance since 2021. On Tuesday, Brentford thrashed Grimsby Town to continue their good form under Keith Andrew. Fulham were forced to penalties by League One side Wycombe Wanderers, while Cardiff City defeated Welsh rivals Wrexham. As well as City's trip to Swansea, there are 4 more games this evening. Liverpool are looking to end their barren run against Crystal Palace, while Chelsea visit struggling Wolves. Arsenal host Brighton at the Emirates Stadium before Newcastle, and Tottenham face off in the later kickoff. Manchester City and Pep Guardiola won't conform to Premier League shift. Manchester City have not scored from a set piece yet this season, going very much against the Premier League trend. A simple statement from one of the game's greatest managers. Pep Guardiola has reinvented football more than once, from his pass masters to 4 central defenders to inverted fullbacks and false nines. Much of the modern Premier League lexicon can be traced back to the Manchester City manager. But this season's trend is one Guardiola, and City are happy to acknowledge but reticent to buckle to. Set pieces have become the talk of the top flight this term, sparked by league leaders Arsenal, who have scored 11 of their 16 league goals from set pieces. The Gunners are not alone. 19% of all Premier League goals this term have been scored from corners, and that figure rises to 27% for all set plays. Along with the Gunners, the likes of Tottenham and Brentford have been exploiting the set-piece advantage. Not so City. The Blues have scored 17 goals in the league this season, the joint highest, and all have been from open play. You won't find Guardiola changing tack to fit in with the latest fad. The set-piece fashion is not particularly hurting City at the other end either. They nullified that threat at Arsenal, and did so again at Brentford. Matty Cash's winner for Aston Villa on Sunday was the first set-piece goal City have conceded this term, and even that came with a slight caveat, given it wasn't a direct delivery into the box, but a short corner that involved 6 Villa touches before the ball hit the City net. No side has conceded fewer set-piece goals in the Premier League than City's one, and while not finding the net from a set-piece feels an obvious area for the Blues to exploit, Guardiola won't be putting any extra focus on breaking that duck. Every manager does what they believe, said Guardiola. I'm focused on that. I want to score from free kicks and corners. I'm not naive to that. I want it. But I spend my time on what we have to do to play better, attack better, and create chances. To score goals. Defensively, you have to be more aggressive. All the aspects of the game I see. Of course I pay attention, but I know I'm not the manager to try to. It's what I've done all my career. It would be naive to say I don't pay attention. Of course I don't want to concede the goals, and most of the goals come from these kind of actions. I'm pretty sure the people spend a lot of time there. The goal we conceded at Aston Villa was a corner. Maybe it didn't happen much when I arrived, maybe at Burnley, but now it's a fact. And you have to pay attention. Manchester City lineup versus Swansea predicted as trio make long-awaited returns, and Divine Mukasa starts Manchester City injury latest, and team news versus Swansea City ahead of Carabao Cup clash. Manchester City will ring the changes for the Carabao Cup tie at Swansea City tonight. The Blues were beaten 1-0 at Aston Villa in the Premier League on Sunday as their unbeaten run ended. But they will expect to bounce back in South Wales against the mid-table Championship opponents. Pep Guardiola is set to rest the likes of Erling Haaland and Gianluigi Donnarumma, while Rodri is not yet fit enough to feature despite returning to training. Abdulkadir Kusanov is set to travel having recovered from injury, but is unlikely to start. City are expected to hand a start to Mateo Kovacic for the first time this season, while Omar Marmoush, Ryan Cherki and Ryan Ait-Nouri are in line to make their first starts since August, having recovered from injuries of their own. James Trafford will get the nod in goal, and Ait-Nouri's inclusion at left-back allows Nico O'Reilly a rest. Nathan Aker is likely to come in at centre-back and could partner Ruben Dias, given Josko Gvardiol looks a touch short of form and fitness. Rico Lewis has made no secret of his desire to feature more in midfield, but right-back looks his best avenue into the team at Swansea, with Kovacic playing the holding role. Tijani Reinders has played plenty of minutes this season, but could edge out O'Reilly for a start in the midfield. Oscar Bob was poor at Villa, but could be trusted with another start to show what he can offer, while Cherki and Marmoush will come into the front line. In Haaland's absence, Divine Mukasa, who started at Huddersfield in the last round, could lead the line. James Trafford rising to Gianluigi Donnarumma task at Manchester City. As Pep Guardiola makes bold claim, James Trafford is set to start for Manchester City in the Carabao Cup tie at Swansea City. James Trafford's goalposts moved this summer, which is not particularly what you need as a keeper. The 23-year-old returned to the Etihad in a £27 million move from Burnley and had his eyes fixed on becoming Blues number one. Upon arrival, his competition was Ederson, and the general consensus was that the pair would battle it out this term before Trafford assumed first-choice status for the 2026-27 campaign. But within a matter of weeks, Ederson had moved to Fenerbahce and Champions League winning stopper Gianluigi. Donnarumma had arrived from PSG. Trafford played the opening 3 Premier League matches of the season before losing his place to the newly signed Italian. The former Burnley man's only outing since has been in the Carabao Cup. He is expected to return to the 11 in that competition when City take on Swansea on Wednesday night. But his chances of top-flight minutes look remote. Trafford arrived battling with a 32-year-old entering the last year of his contract. He is now duelling with a decorated 26-year-old who can count the Champions League and European Championship among his list of honours. It's a seismic shift for Trafford, who enjoyed a stellar season in the Championship with Burnley last term, and it's to his credit that the keeper has maintained a positive attitude and trained well, impressing Guardiola to the extent that the City chief sees his current second-choice keeper as an imminent first choice for England. We have an incredible keeper. For England, sooner or later, he will be the one, said Guardiola ahead of City's trip to Swansea. Trafford and Donnarumma work together under goalkeeper coaches Xabier Mancisidor and his assistant Richard Wright, and Guardiola believes his two stoppers take bits from each other as he praised Trafford's attitude and aptitude in the face of changing circumstances. "We are delighted with his behaviour in training," said the City boss of Trafford. "Gigi learns from James and James learns from Gigi. The goalkeepers are always connected. They train. They learn like I learn from the players, and hopefully the players learn from the staff. One of the reasons I want to go through in this competition is because they all have to be ready just in case they are needed in the Premier League or Champions League." Guardiola has spoken to Trafford about the opportunities he will get this season, with the England international having next summer's World Cup in his sights, having been named in every Three Lions squad since Thomas Tuchel arrived, even if he is still awaiting a first cap. Guardiola and Tuchel's faith in Trafford is clear. What's not is his club pathway. Rodri injury truth as Pep Guardiola gives update, and Manchester City handed double boost Manchester City injury latest as Pep Guardiola provides an update on Rodri, Erling Haaland and others ahead of the Swansea City Carabao Cup tie. Rodri is not ready to return to action for Manchester City, despite returning to full training this week. The midfielder has suffered a stop-start season, having come back from a serious knee injury suffered 13 months ago. He picked up a hamstring problem against Brentford and has missed the last 3 games. That will extend to 4 with the Spaniard not under consideration for the Carabao Cup trip to Swansea City on Wednesday night. Pep Guardiola is hopeful the 29-year-old is not too far away from featuring, but the midweek clash will come too soon. Rodri still is not. He is getting better, said the City boss. Training with us. After what happened 2 times within the muscle, we'll see. No, I don't have an idea on when he will be available. Hopefully soon, but not yet. But there was brighter news on Rayan Aït-Nouri and Abdulkadir Kusanov, with both fit and available to feature in South Wales. Kusanov is unlikely to start, but could feature off the bench, having not played since suffering an injury in September's draw at Arsenal. Aït-Nouri, who was absent from the squad for the weekend defeat to Aston Villa, is also in contention to feature, having not played since August. Erling Haaland, who collided with a post late on at Villa Park, is set to be given the night off, with Guardiola taking the opportunity to rest his star striker regardless of his fitness. I haven't seen him today, but it was a knock, and day by day it is better, he said. Now we train this afternoon, where we will find out more on how he feels and decide if he can play. Manchester City forgotten forward knows how to change Pep Guardiola plans. Omar Marmoush hit a high point at Manchester City the last time Bournemouth were in town, but now he faces